So in November of 2017, my husband and I were expecting the arrival of our first baby. Unfortunately, she was unexpectedly born still, just 1 day shy of her due date. We had prepared to bring our baby home. We were not prepared for what came next. We weren't prepared for picking a funeral home. We weren't prepared for any of the emotions that came with losing our child. And so we just felt completely alone in that. Our goal with Bridget's Bunnies is to ensure that no one else feels that same loneliness that comes when your child dies or when your infant dies or when your pregnancy ends.
My story begins, I guess, in 2018. I had a late miscarriage at about 14 weeks, and it was a very difficult experience. And it took us a while to want to try again to have another baby. So about a year later, we tried again, and I thought that everything would be okay because I already had my experience. 1 in 4 women experience pregnancy loss, so I was that statistic. However, at about 10 weeks, I began bleeding, and so we went to emerge at Stevenson Memorial in Alliston, and they told me I had a subchorionic hematoma, which is a bleed behind the placenta. And although the baby was okay, there was increased chance of miscarriage. And unfortunately, at about 24 weeks, I went into labor and I lost my daughter, Rosie.
When you don't know anybody that has had their baby die, you just feel like you're the only person on the planet who has. And so our goal with Bridget's Bunnies is really to hit people at their moment of crisis and ensure that they know immediately that they are not the only people that have gone through this. Others have come before them and that we have survived. It's not easy, it's gonna be hard, but we provide this toolkit almost. Here's what worked for us in the first few days, the first few weeks. Here's what helped us through, and we just want to make sure that they know that this is available and that they know it's coming from a family that has survived this themselves.
We spent many hours with our daughter, Rosie, before we kind of realized this kit was in the room. And so they told us we could bring it home. And it took me, several days and weeks to slowly unpack it. Every item in it seemed like exactly what I needed. I didn't even know I needed it. And having experienced a miscarriage the year before with no support, I really could tell the difference between the two different experiences. And it was so comforting to have this kit that was almost like a guide to my grief. Because I think often in our society we can rush through grief, especially with pregnancy loss. We don't always talk about it openly. And so having this kit kind of slow me down and really help me validate my grief and give me these ways to create memories, to honor Rosie's life, to how to take care of myself, how to acknowledging my husband's loss, sibling loss. So it was just an amazing guide for my family.
Bridget's Run is our main fundraiser each year. It gives people an opportunity to come out and support their loved ones who have experienced loss. It brings the community together, and it really reinforces that you're not alone. But in addition to that, it's also our main fundraising tool to ensure that we can keep going forward with the program. The Bridget's Run takes place on October 16th, 2021 this year. We always ensure that it's the Saturday following Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Day, which is October 15th. So if you want to participate in Bridget's Run this year, you can go online. You can visit us at bridgetsbunnies.ca/Bridget'sRun. It's a quick registration process. If you want to register your kids, anyone 12 and under is actually free, so they can come along as a little hopper. It's a 5K, 1K fun run. You can participate virtually, so literally from anywhere at all. You don't have to be in Barrie. And it's actually, this year's kind of great because I feel like people will be able to get together a little bit better than they have in the past, where you can kind of gather your little group around you, especially if you've had a loss during COVID. This might be a great time to really rally your troops, get your friends and family out, give them an opportunity to come out and support you.
This is my first time being able to participate, and we've actually created a team this year and getting family involved. Now that there's been some distance, or a year since our loss, I feel I can emotionally engage and participate now, and physically. We can be very silent around grieving this kind of loss, but grief is grief, and it's challenging and difficult, and it's a roller coaster. So I think, you know, we don't need to grieve alone as families. I think making this community, validating our grief, and having a safe place to discuss and process our grief is really important for the entire, just for processing this experience. So I think Bridget's Bunnies is a great gateway for that.
So we have 3 daughters. Bridget is definitely our first daughter. Our other girls are being raised to know that she is their big sister. Those early days are awful, and you just kind of duck your head and get through it. You just keep breathing, you find a way to get through it. And then as you get a little bit further out, you get a little more reprieve. You get more time in between those really hard moments. And then I think now we're coming up on almost 4 years. So we would have a 4-year-old. And that's hard too, because then you see kids going off to school. So there's always something more that you're going to grieve. When it's your child, they should be with you from the, till the end. And so it's so incredibly difficult, but at the same time, it gets easier. There is still, joy comes back into your life. There's a lot of fun moments, and then we bring Bridget along with us.